Hello and welcome to the joestar podcast. Today we're going to be talking about subjects such as Cars on the Road, episode 1 to 7. I know there's 2 more episodes, but we'll do those on the next podcast. We've got She-Hulk, episode 4, and JoJo Stone Ocean, like I said last week, 13 to 24. And then we've got some Pokemon news. So let's get started with Cars on the Road. Episode 1. It started off with McQueen racing around a track. And then Meta appears to tell him that he's going to his sister's wedding. And which was quick, to be honest. All the characters telling them places they will probably go to was a crazy idea. I'm not really sure when this series is set because McQueen isn't in his dock uniform from the end of Cars 3, and Cruz Ramirez isn't there at all. So I don't know if this takes place in between 2 and 3, or if it takes place between 1 and 2, but I'm not sure. The opening showed them traveling across a map, and then it showed the places they were going to, and Carhenge. They had a Stonehenge version of Cars, and Meta touched it and it fell over, and it said "Do not touch," and it was pretty funny. The Cars universe had dinosaurs before Cars came before what they are now. So it's a little weird because it's kind of the same as the human world if you're a scientist type thing, because if you think about going back decades, millions of decades, people might assume that dinosaurs were real, and so this is just a translation that the Cars universe is set in a completely different universe to most of the Pixar things, because we never know. There might have been the car Big Bang, car dinosaurs roamed the earth, and so on. The Meta Dream sequence was amazing, and it reminded me of cartoons, Meta Tales, when he was there, and then he'd be like, you were there too, and then McQueen would show up, and so on and so on. Episode 2, Meta predicting the rain was clever idea. The film gave me horror vibes. Well, the episode, not the film, because it was a 10-minute show. It was pretty funny. There was a shining. Sorry, let me go back. The way the ghosts were creepy, and the way someone wrote race car. Hey. Oh, I just realized now, and they wrote race car, and then in the mirror it still said race car. It was pretty silly. And then, like I said, there was the Shining reference where there were two little girl cars standing there. Loved the ghost dancing scene and loved the music. There was this bit where a car was chasing him and he was going and so on and so on. But it was quite funny. Okay, episode 3, McQueen and Meta racing was fun. And then Meta became a salt racer, which was pretty cool. And then he broke the sound barrier after reaching 600 miles per hour, I think it was. Meeting Speed Demon was nice, and she being an angel car, which was like a car with wings, was pretty cool. And Meta's design for when he was a soul racer looked pretty clever. And I think it was quite funny when Meta's ghost got inside of him. So he was like banging in as if his soul was trying to get into his car, as if your soul goes into your car. Your soul goes into your body. As if it's like that, it would go in and then it would form into your hand. But what he ended up doing is bashing into it and it wouldn't work. But then he went backwards, his door opened, and then he went inside that door and the door shut. Okay, episode 4. It was fun to see that cars do same things as humans. So McQueen was setting up a campfire, that sort of thing. They were camping and that sort of thing. McQueen getting chased by something was cool, and then we realized it was Ivy. Her name was Ivy, and then Ivy actually looked like she. Ivy used to be a monster truck, but then she crashed into some car and then got shut down or something like that. The way they scared them was clever and funny because they made it look like aliens. And they made a new friend in Ivy, which was quite nice. Episode 5, the car wash scene right at the start showed us what Ivy actually looked like. She was a blue monster truck rather than her dusty green coloring from the last episode. Ivy actually looked like she looks cool. Okay. McQueen being scared of clowns is silly because they went to a circus, and I was like, oh god, how can McQueen be clowns? What sort of thing brought that on? We need a story of he did that sort of thing. The circus show was nice. It was cool. They had forklifts and they had clown cars, and then Ivy got invited to go down, and so she tried redoing her stunt, and it actually worked out a little better because she was able to turn it into a fun circus thing, which was quite cool. Led into a part of the circus tonight. It's sad that Ivy left to join the circus, but something does happen, so we'll come back to that. Episode 6, Meta making a truck sound was cool. The truck song was amazing. it was pretty cool, and the animation in the scene of the truck song was it reminded me a bit of Dumbo, but it wasn't like full on Dumbo. It was more trucks, using trucks instead of elephants. But episode 6 was actually one of the shorter ones, so we're going to move on to episode 7. McQueen being part of a movie sounds cool. Mater getting a part is funny because he just kept getting the part, and then they turned into hilarious scenes with that sort of thing. And then it was so sad to see McQueen getting left out because they were like, you only have one line. He messed it up like 40 times. And it was sad that he only didn't really get the part that well. And then when they got back after they'd done the whole president thing and stuff, Ivy got cast and they turned it into a musical. And Mater's president speech was funny. Well, now I could have done episode 8 and 9, but I wanted to spread it out a bit. So we're going to move on to She-Hulk episode 4. So She-Hulk episode 4. All right. The magician was boring and for some reason had a sling ring, and I didn't know that until later on when he actually was part of the ministry. No, that's Harry Potter. Mystical arts, something like that. No, that's Harry Potter again. I'm getting mixed up with Harry Potter and MCU. What did Doctor Strange? The Doctor Strange thing he trained for. Yeah. And then the dad came round and was like, "Oh, you got attacked. So what I've gone and done for you is I've collected these things you need: protection, 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 protection." One talking about the Book of Vishanti, very good. Shows that he was trying to talk about a higher power than the American law. Yeah. Jen using matcha is funny because it's like a sort of Tinder version. A version of Tinder, I should say, not a Tinder version. The date was, and the idea to make a profile She-Hulk was clever. It comes into use a little later in the episode, but it was quite cool. She wasn't impressed, but we'll come back to that. The date was silly. She went on a date, and then the guy was like a complete jerk and would probably have cheated on her on the first day. So I'm glad she completely left. The camp scene was the court scene. The court scene was serious until it wasn't. By the way, if you don't know, if you're hearing thunder, it's raining here, so don't worry. The She-Hulk dating profile was funny. She would swipe and then be like, "Oh, no, not really," and you would focus through the phone as if we were the phone, and she was just going like swipe, 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 and that was actually quite clever. It looks kind of the same as it did in the trailer, but I'm not really sure how that worked. Profile funny. The dating scenes were funny. She got a couple of people who were like, yeah, not that good. But then she met this doctor guy, and then he left because he didn't like Jen's normal form. By the way, I've just got an itch on my nose. I'm not picking my nose. The magic show made a pig monster appear, and Wong and Jen working together was cool because the magician had opened a portal to a wrong dimension, and so basically what had happened is that he was doing his magic show, he opened a wrong portal, and then he had to go to Wong, and then Wong had to go to Jennifer Walters, but Jennifer didn't want to do it because she was on a really nice date. And Tatiana is back, so Tatiana is back, and she is suing Jen for the name She-Hulk. And there was a post-credit scene that showed Wong and I don't know, I can't fully remember her name, but I'm gonna call her Mandy, hanging out. And so that was She-Hulk. So moving on to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean episode part 2. Okay, episode 13 focused on Hermes and how she was focused, how she was adopted by her sister, and then her sister got killed, and she was trying to find a killer, and so she went into prison on purpose because she wanted to find her killer, and unfortunately she did find him, and they did have a battle, and there was a stuffed alligator being a stand user, which was really amazing. And so, yeah. Episode 14, it continued the fight. This is what most of JoJo does, is they do a fight scene and then they might cut it off at some point and then start it at the next episode. So you're going to be hearing a lot of it started with this or it started with that. It continued the fight from the last episode. FF can heal other people's body parts. So I think what had happened is that FF, she has the power of plankton, and for some reason, if say someone gets a cut on their finger, she can fill it up with plankton and stuff it inside to make sure that they are human skin. And so she was doing this all over certain things and people. Sports Maximum got his powers from Whitesnake and is now invisible. I don't know how that worked out because he was just standing there, and I don't get it. Like I have read the manga, I just don't understand certain powers and why was he invisible and stuff. Okay. The way Jolene accidentally attacked the girl's corpse was weird, and it was him who had caused that to happen. Hermes was there to get her revenge on him. The corpse gave me real horror vibes. I keep saying that. Hermes can stick her stand on corpses. The corpse turned out to be dust. Corpses turned into dust. There we go. And then there was a post-credit scene that showed Jolene being sent back to her cell. But that is because it was linked to the first episode, because at the start of the first episode, there was Jolene getting transported into the prison. And so it was coming back to that. And so it was doing that so that we know that every episode after this is after she's been in the cell. It talked about how Sports Maximum got its powers and Dio's last bone. Okay, so Dio gave Poochie his bone. This was in the this will come back later, sorry. But Dio gives Poochie his bone, and then he goes off and fights Joseph in He goes off and fights Jotaro in Stardust Crusaders, and then he gets put to dust, but no one knows where that bone is, and it's because Poochie was given him, and he wanted it to make over heaven. So, yeah. And the way to heaven does exist, and that reminded me a bit of One Piece, when Whitebeard was like, the One Piece does exist. Okay, so Emporio tells FF about the disciplinary room and how he has never been, because I don't know if this is true or not, because I don't know if the disciplinary room was made the same time as the prison, or was it the fact that Emporio was born and then he can't go to the cell because he can't fully get there, or is it like a dark place? There are so many things I want to know, but if you have the answers, do tell me. Why are they okay? This is why I hate the English dub. His name is Anasui, not Anastasia. Why? Why would you call someone Anastasia? It sounds like a... Oh, God. So, just so you know, I'm going to be calling him Anasui, because that's how I've learned his name. When Anasui was younger, he took apart everything he touched, so he... I don't know if he was born with a stand or something, and that's why he was taking things apart, or whether he actually just took things apart. But then here comes the dangerous bit. He basically cut up his girlfriend for cheating on him. Yeah. And then Anasui being a simpleton, as in he was saying that he's going to protect Jolene, we're gonna fall in love, we're gonna get married, blah blah blah. Also, Diver Drive should be called Diver Drown. This is Netflix. This is Netflix. Netflix, if you're watching this, you're stupid. I could write a better script. I would call him Anasui. I would call his stand Diver Down. I would call everything by its name, like Jailhouse Lock. Okay. Survivor is Dio's weakest stand. Yeah, Survivor is a nerve, so it goes up to the brain, gives them signals to fight. And then Survivor caused the two guards to fight. Love the fact that Survivor happened right after Dio and Poochie talked about it. Obviously, we figure out in the next episode that who was actually holding Survivor. Okay, episode 16. The water was important for Survivor to be able to travel to certain people's brains. I don't know why, but it goes to Jolene last. Each person, stand users are in the detention center, so there's a couple of them. FF and Anna Sweet teaming up was cool. Viviano Westwood, love that name. Stand being able to make mini meteors was cool.
I don't understand it.
Hold on a second.
I mean, I get that someone might dream of being known as the best and strongest fighter in the world.
Sorry about that, guys. Hold on a second. I just got Sui. Okay.
No matter what.
There we go. Back. Thank you very much. Yeah, episode 17. I didn't really enjoy 16 that much, and there wasn't really much to talk about. And it was basically the same thing again and again. This guy's powers is to make people predict his opponent's move. Didn't really enjoy 17 either, so let's move on to 18. FS asked Anna Sweet to protect Jolene.